on digital radio, on the app, on your smart speaker, on Twitter, YouTube, Twitch.tv, and Facebook.
The Sports Cast. Expect the unexpected.
The update presented by the Sports Cast.
The Sportscast, October 7th, 2024. If you haven't yet, please subscribe at all our channels, YouTube, Twitch, X, and Apple Podcast. You can also listen to us on your smart speaker. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please leave a rating and a review. It will help us out tremendously. We're also on online digital radio. You can listen to us on our website, which is thesportscast.net. Also, follow us on X and Instagram at the Sportscast1. Also, check out our app, the Sportscast for iOS. NFL Week 5 was a wrap. Couple of continuing storylines, couple of eye openers, and some clarity happening. And the first London game. And joining us all the way from Northeast Ohio, Dan Madden. Welcome back to the Sportscast.
Yeah, good to be here.
Dan Madden, your Browns, they did not have a good game yesterday. Obviously, they lost against Jaden Daniels expectantly, but a lot of question marks about DeShaun Watson. But your thoughts over yesterday's game?
Yeah, it was abysmal. I mean, when you think it can't get any worse, it does. I mean, they just didn't look like they wanted to be there. I mean, Watson in particular, I mean, he just doesn't look good. There's a lot of it went viral on social media. Third quarter, Stefanski was going to go for it on fourth down, and Watson's walking to the sidelines, completely quitting on the team, and the team's kind of looking at him. I mean, he could have made it a 2-score game if they went for it, and he can't get the ball down the field. The offensive line can't block anybody, and the defense that was supposed to be good can't stop anybody. And Jaden Daniels, let's face it, he's front runner for Rookie of the Year. I mean, he looks amazing out there. But I don't really know why the Browns decided to bring in Dorsey and change the offense from last year. I mean, their offense actually looked decent last year, and it just looks like they're just not in sync. I mean, the plays that they're calling, Stefanski needs to be fired. The general manager needs to be fired for doing this deal with Watson, $230 million to look like this when you got guys like Flacco playing well, who we should have kept. You got Baker Mayfield playing well that we got rid of for Watson. But I really don't know if Stefanski is able to bench him. I think the general manager and the owner is saying, we invested $230 million in this guy and you're not benching him. I mean, that's the only thing that makes sense. We can see it as people, fans of the game, that he's not any good. So why is he still playing? Stefanski says the same thing after every press conference. We're not benching the quarterback. I need to coach better. We need to play better. That's it. Well, at some point you have to do it. You have to play better. And
yeah. And
here we
what
are.
Dan was implying, DeShaun Watson is getting paid $40 million guaranteed every year. Every penny is guaranteed. And the only way you can get out of that contract if he gets suspended for any of his acts outside the field. And the backup you guys have is James Winston. But
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and
which is not that bad either.
No, exactly. I mean, he was a good quarterback. I mean, let's see what he could do. See if the team's going to be receptive. I mean, here's the other thing in this. If I'm Nick Chubb and I'm getting ready to come back, I'm second guessing. You don't have an offensive line that can block for me, and I don't have a quarterback that can take the pressure off me. I'm going to get killed. I'm going to get hurt again. I'm just going to say, I need some time to recover. I mean, I'm second guessing coming back, really. I mean, looking at this Browns schedule, they'll be lucky to win 3 games. I mean, they got Philly this week. They're going to lose that. I mean, it doesn't get any easier at all.
Yeah. The Brown schedule is pretty tough. I actually was looking at it before the show, and they play a lot of divisional games. And I'll pull this up right now. They got the Eagles, which is not easy. They got Cincinnati, which is I guess is
Yeah,
kind of
it's
doable.
winnable. Yeah, the way they're playing.
It's a
Yeah, exactly.
winnable, yeah. Ravens, that's not winnable. The
No,
Chargers, that's not easy.
no.
You got the Saints, that's not easy. You got Pittsburgh, not easy. The Broncos are are
Yeah, they.
playing good.
Yeah,
The Chiefs,
yeah.
that's not
No.
let's not talk about that. Then you got Cincinnati again, which that could also be another winnable. Miami's winnable, I would say that. And then the Ravens. So this schedule throughout the rest of the season is not good for you guys.
No, not at all. No, so I'm on to the Guardians. We got a game today. They look good, so I'm kind of shifting my focus completely in sports to the Guardians and get their playoff push here because for my own mental sanity, I can't.
I know it's something that can be checked out. Yeah, as we said, DeShaun Watson has to be paid that 40 million. From a business perspective, you have to play him, unfortunately, unless he gets suspended. That's something that could be the out
Well,
of it.
I'm if I'm owner, I'm saying, hey, let's bring these people in and investigate them and just come forward and let's just try to find a way to get out of this business deal that we did right now, right?
Yeah, it is turning out to be a bust. Every guaranteed money is not good. Let's go to the top headlines. Yesterday was the first international game. Aaron Rodgers did not look good. They lost against the Minnesota Vikings, but he becomes the ninth quarterback with 60,000 passing yards. He broke that record, but did have a bad game yesterday against the Vikings. The Jets cannot protect them. I think he's never been sacked. I think he had an ankle injury yesterday.
Yeah, I bet you he's rethinking this playing again deal. If you don't have anyone that can protect you, you can see it on his face. He's just really frustrated right now.
Yeah, really frustrated. And he even said, like, man, I don't remember like a time like this ever in my career. So he's kind of like, before, I mean, he had to go with Green Bay. Now thinking about it. So quite something. Another news story was San Francisco 49ers were up to 13 points, Dan, and they lose against Arizona.
That was a shocker. I was kind of flipping back and forth, and I saw the score initially, and I feel like they had it in the bag, but they come back and saw the score, and I was surprised. Yeah, no, it's uncharacteristic. You kind of thought San Francisco would have a big year, but I mean, when you don't have McCaffrey, I mean that's a big part of your offense, the running back. So that's a problem, and they need to find some other weapons. To
We lost Dan for a little bit. We're going to play a commercial break and we will be back. In the rhythm of life, every tick of the clock holds a story. But how do we make every moment count? Meet Start Time, the simplest way to log, track, and optimize your time right at your fingertips. Start Time is designed for simplicity. With just a tap, begin logging any activity. And when you're done, hit stop. It's that easy. Wherever you are, Start Time knows. Our location detection feature automatically tags your logs, giving context to every second spent. Keep your day in perspective with a log tab. Every task, every moment, neatly organized and easy to review. Log, track, and optimize your time with a tab. Ready to make every moment count? Start with Start Time. Available now for iOS. We got Dan back. Let's get on the stage.
Sorry about that. I'm not sure what happened there.
It happens. Also, a big story yesterday. Can you hear me? I guess Dan cannot hear me, but we'll talk about if he pulls it up. Minnesota yesterday. Speaking about Aaron Rodgers, he picked off Aaron Rodgers 3 times and beat the Jets 23-17 to improve 4-0 in London. They have won 4 in a row, but they're also 5-0 in the season. That is quite an impressive start. Minnesota. Dan, what are your thoughts over Minnesota?
Hello? Sorry about that.
You hear me? Guess he cannot hear me. Will
Uh,
focus.
sorry about that. It's I don't know what
Okay, now you hear me.
lost you there. I'm here. Sorry. It's a
Minnesota
it,
is 5-0, Dan. That's something to talk about, or
that
they haven't played
is.
much.
No, I tell you what, Sam Donald is playing great. You know, he really is, and it's hard to believe they're 5-0 right now, and they're the favorites in that division. I would say at this point.
Do you think they cannot beat a certain team? Can they beat the Chiefs?
I think they can. I really do, especially the receiver that they got to figure out another receiver, or if Worthy can get going for the Chiefs some more. But I think they could give them a match for sure.
Yeah, which they play tonight, the Chiefs. So week 5 is definitely not completely done. But anyways, Dan, are you ready to recap week 5 of the NFL?
Let's do it.
Let's go. Let's get this show on the road. Let's first start with Carolina, Chicago, because we talked already about the Jets in Minnesota a lot in this show yet. Carolina at the Bears. It was quite something. Caleb Williams threw for 304 yards, Dan, and 2 touchdowns in his best performance to date. DJ Moore caught both scoring passes and had 105 yards receiving against his former team. And the Chicago Bears beat the Panthers 36-10.
Yeah, no, Williams made me eat my words, at least for this game, that he was going to be a bust. I mean, he actually looked like a number 1 pick and looked great. Best game so far. Finding Moore down the field, there's nobody happier for sure than the way he played than Moore, getting on the ball, scoring down the field. And look for more, hopefully, for the Bears, that Williams continues to play like that for sure.
Yeah, let's see what happens with Chicago, but anyone could beat Carolina maybe.
Yes,
let's go
exactly.
to Cincinnati. This was a close game. A couple of cool plays. Justin Tucker, the kicker for the Ravens, kicked a 24-yard field goal to lift the Baltimore Ravens to a wild 41-38 overtime win over the Cincinnati Bengals on Sunday. There was a play where Lamar Jackson fumbled the ball. He got the ball again and then threw for a touchdown.
Yeah, I was watching that game closely. Surprisingly for Ravens, I mean, defense was optional in this game. They're usually pretty good on the defensive front. But problems in Cincy. I mean, it's even Burrow said we're not a championship team right now. I mean,
that's a strong statement.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they had making uncharacteristic. They had a bad snap on a field goal that could have won the game, or had a chance to win. So they need to get it going and get it going fast, or it's going to be rough for them.
Derrick Henry rumbled 51 yards down to the Bengals 6 to set up Tucker's chip shot kick for the win towards the end. Lamar Jackson threw for 348 yards and 4 touchdowns and rushed 50 yards. Henry had 92 yards, Dan, and a touchdown. The offense has to run through Henry, right?
Oh yeah, no, he brings a different element for sure. Who would think that the offense wouldn't run through Lamar? But I mean, that's the dual-headed monster right there with the two of them. I mean, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with for sure.
3 straight wins for the Ravens. Good job for that. Let's go to New England. Alec Ingold scored the goal-head touchdown on a 3-yard run with 4 minutes left, and Jason Sanders kicked 3 field goals to make up for 3 hodge kicks by the Dolphins. Special teams on Sunday as Miami beat the New England Patriots 15-10 ugly.
Yeah, definitely ugly game. Huntley did enough to pull out the win. Problems in New England for sure. I mean, at some point, do you try Drake May? I mean, you would think that would be coming into question as the season moves on, but we'll see.
We'll see what happens with the Miami Dolphins with Snoop Hunt. Let's go to Houston. This was an exciting game, actually. C.J. Stroud threw for 331 yards and a touchdown, and Kaime Fairbairn's tie-breaking 59-yard field goal as time expired lifted the Houston Texans to a 23-20 win over the Buffalo Bills yesterday. Your thoughts?
Yeah, no, another great game. Stroud keeps finding a way to win. He looked good. So I think they're going to be a tough team. And Bills, I mean, that was a
Two-game
tough
losing
one to
streak.
lose for sure. Yeah, there's some concerns there for sure, I would say.
A lot of question marks, but they play good. Two good teams, the Ravens and the Texans. So we'll see what happens in a few other weeks. Let's go to Denver. Sean Payton did it again. He was yelling at his quarterback, but maybe that was enough to beat the Raiders 34-18. Patrick Surtain II got paid good money this offseason. Picked off a pair of passes in his 100-yard interception return for a touchdown, powered by the Broncos. Past injury-riddled Raiders 34-18 on Sunday, snapping an 8-game losing streak in the storied AFC West Series. Pat Surtain's his investment is paying off.
Yeah, no, Nix is going to learn not to press Sean Payton. I guess he called his own play, and he went back, and the coach said, "What'd you do that for?" "Well, your play wasn't any good, and mine got us a touchdown." And he told him, "Well, you keep doing that, you're going to sit on the bench." So, but yeah, no, Nix turned it on. I mean, he looks like the real deal, and I think that was definitely a good pick for them.
Nix finished 19 of 27 for 206 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no interceptions. Dan, that's pretty good for a rookie quarterback.
Yeah, I would
Broncos
say
are
so.
3-2. There's something to look at there, right?
Absolutely. I love their jerseys. I love that look. I mean, that
1980s flash.
Yeah, I love that. I love that look. For sure.
Kyler Murray had a long touchdown, Dan, run in the first quarter and rallied Arizona with a 2 fourth-quarter scoring drives in the Cardinals' 24-23 victory over the San Francisco 49ers on Sunday. Murray threw a 2-touchdown pass to Elijah Higgins early in the fourth quarter. They cut the deficit to 23-21. Remember, Cardinals were down 13 points. They came back and win. This Arizona team is the real deal, I think.
No, I think so too. When Kyler Murray plays well, like he's playing, they're tough to beat. Brock Purdy didn't have the best game. I mean, he had 2 interceptions, so that he's going to have to do better with that, especially with McCaffrey being gone. I mean, he's going to have to play a lot better to pick up that slack for sure.
Low-key game. Jordan Love bounced back from the first pick 6 of his career to throw a pair of touchdown passes to Tucker Kraft in the second half as the Green Bay Packers rallied for a 24-19 victory over the Los Angeles Rams.
So, yeah, definitely a good game for Jordan Love. When he plays well, they play well, and the games he didn't, they didn't do too well. So it all falls back on Jordan Love for sure.
Jordan Love is actually from California. He grew up in Bakersfield, completed 15 of 26 for 224 yards. Josh Jacobs had 19 carries, 473 yards, and scored his first touchdown with the Packers. So that Green Bay team is definitely warming up. The surprise of the weekend, maybe. We'll ask Dan a little bit later. Daniel Jones threw for 257 yards and 2 touchdowns. Bryce Ford Wheaton returned a blocked field goal attempt, 60 yards for a touchdown with 55 seconds left. And the shorthanded New York Giants stunned the Seattle Seahawks 29-20 in Seattle.
Yeah, I think Seattle may have took this game a little too lightly. They're playing down a couple of people, and you think the Giants and Daniel Jones, we're going to come and they'll lay down for us. But, that wasn't the case. I mean, Daniel Jones definitely had his best game for sure, and definitely a shocker this week. Didn't see it.
Definitely a shocker. You can't take every team lightly, especially the Browns. You never know. They could definitely scoop you up. They could surprise you. Seattle's Jason Myers lined up for a 47-yard field goal attempt. It was like the final play of the game with 1:05 left. They could have pulled even for 23-23, but New York's Isaiah Simmons cleanly jumped over the gap between the guard and long snapper in the offensive line and swatted the kick, which bounced into the arms of Fort Wheaton for a clinching score that sent the home fans to the exits. That was quite an accomplishment for the New York Giants. There's some hope there, maybe. What do you think?
Yeah.
The Giants?
No, there could be. You never know. There's always
the Commanders
hope.
are 4-1, so
Yeah, exactly.
maybe. Let's go to Sunday Night Football. Dak Prescott drifted to his left, then drifted some more on a seamless, endless night. What was another couple of seconds going hurt with a flick of the wrist as T.J. Watt and the rest of the Pittsburgh defense closed in. The NFL's highest-paid player delivered a money throw to Jalen Tolbert with 20 seconds to go that lifted the Cowboys to a 2017 victory early Monday morning. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah,
game?
no, I think it probably got over, about 1 o'clock or so, at 10 o'clock start. So I definitely wasn't watching that, but saw the highlights. And, this was an up and down game for Dak, but he got it done when it mattered most at the end of the game, given that touchdown. But he did have a couple picks, a fumble. But the day was a little wet, and, Fields definitely has to play better. I think he was 15 for 27 for 127 yards. They need to find a way to get the ball down the field. Interesting when Russ gets back, if he's going to get a chance to give them a spark down the field, see what he can do.
Yeah, we'll see when he comes. I think he'll eventually come. I thought he would be on by now, but maybe this week. We'll see what Mike Tomlin does. We have one more game we need to talk about. Winless no more. Trevor Lawrence got his first win in 350 days. And the Jags got their first win of the season in a 37-34 victory over Joe Flacco. He still got it, and the Colts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, finally got a win for Trevor Lawrence. But, when you're, playing the Colts, you would think you'd win if you were Jacksonville of last year. But, they got over the hump. But Joe Flacco made it interesting. They were down, and he rallied the troops just like he did in Cleveland. Threw for like 370 yards and gave it his all. Wish we still had him in Cleveland. But so yeah, I'm a little salty, but they didn't even offer the guy. I mean, come on, give him a 1-year deal. Jeez.
Yeah, exactly. You think they had money for him, or like?
No, they didn't want the ownership didn't want to burden Watson for a competition and have him looking over your shoulder like you're on a short leash, and they just probably wanted to play him free, like you're the guy there's no one behind you type thing. And as soon as Watson did a bad throw, they'd be yelling Flacco, you know what I mean? It's they didn't want that. So
yeah, that's the thing. It would have been a distraction. I do have to point that out, but the head coach Shine of the Colts said when Anthony Richardson is healthy, he'll be starting again.
Yeah, he's fine to do that. That's their investment for the future. But I can assure you that if he doesn't play well or to the standard that Flacco's been playing, I think it's question that the media and the fans, they might get antsy because they're seeing what Flacco's doing. So if they don't get that same with Richardson, yeah, could be interesting.
Did you know that the Colts has not won in Jacksonville since 2004?
I didn't know that. Wow.
It's been that long. So every time you see the Colts play Jacksonville or Jaguars in Jacksonville, put your money with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, right.
Even if they're 0-4.
Yeah.
So there you have it. We have one more game tonight. The New Orleans Saints visit the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs are high on a couple wide receivers. Looks like Worthy's going to get a lot of touches. Of course, Kelsey will. Dan, your thoughts over tonight's game, New Orleans Saints at the Chiefs?
I think it's going to be a good game. I like the Chiefs. I do hear Taylor Swift's going to be there, so that should be, there was questions. Oh, she hadn't been to 2 games, so I heard she's going to be in for Monday Night Football. So, that might give Kelsey an edge. He did have a good game last week, so I like the Chiefs in this one by a touchdown.
By a touchdown, it'd be a close game. Do you picture a Amari Cooper or a Devontae Adams going to Kansas City?
That could be. It could be. I don't know if Amari Cooper. I don't know. He says he's happy, but yeah, no, I know. Yeah, I would think he would want to leave that fiasco, but he's defending Watson. I saw an article.
Oh, he was?
Yeah, he said, "Oh, it's not all on Watson," and I'm going, "Well, are you watching the same game I am? Because it is." You need a line, but clearly, it's him.
Yeah.
I mean, but maybe I'm just feeling the line doesn't want to, like, let me work so hard to block these guys, and Watson can't even hit a quick out route. Like, I just feel it's affecting the team, the defense. It's like, man, do I just want to bust my butt and stop this play? But we don't have a quarterback that can do anything. So I think the motivation, the morale of the team is down because of the leader that you have as quarterback, or supposedly.
And you said something about switching coaches. You think a different coach could help Watson out, or it's just Watson with his external problems?
Yeah. No, I just don't think he has it anymore. I think they paid him for what he did in Houston, and I just don't. I think he's washed up.
I think he's checked out. He's washed up.
It is washed up.
I heard it's a bad shoulder.
Physically, he could be. I mean, but at the same, then leave. Go
get some rest.
Yeah, it's. At some point, I mean, you have to make a change. There's just no way that you can continue to do this over. I mean, it's insanity doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. I mean, that's the definition.
It's the definition of insanity. I don't know who's going to get fired first midseason. It's kind of rare. Nick Sirianni's up there in the list, I think. Stefanski, you wouldn't you think he's protected by the Browns front office, or there could be a shot?
Well, it's hard to get rid of a guy that won the Coach of the Year a couple years. Within the last 5 years, he got Coach of the Year twice. But at the same time, I just don't. Or I think he needs to get rid of play calling. I mean, why are you bringing Dorsey in when you're still calling the plays? I mean, if Vrabel, let Vrabel. I mean, fire him and put Vrabel in as the acting coach. I want to see
Vrabel is available.
He can do.
You're right.
To see what he can do. You have him in the wings. I mean, what's he thinking? Is he watching this? Is a guy like that pedigree saying, what kind of product we putting out here? I mean, they have to see it. I mean, I know I watch football, but I mean, it's clear as day. I mean, I'm not a coach, but it's like, what?
I have not heard Bill Belichick to the Browns. I've been hearing him to the Cowboys or the Jets.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to go. He was the Browns coach once, and there's that scripture in the Bible where it says the dog returned to his vomit. I don't think he's going to do that.
He's probably declined it in the past before. So, well, there you have it tonight. The Saints at the Chiefs should be a good game. Dan says it might be. It might come down to a touchdown. It could possibly be the Saints had a good start, but didn't have a good couple weeks lately, so we'll see what happens. Alvin Kamara, we'll see what he does. Derek Carr, so it should be hopefully a good game. Looking forward to a good Monday Night Football. So, anyways, Dan, what is the best way to reach you online to talk to you about the fiasco in Cleveland?
Yeah, Danimal2478 or on Facebook, Dan Madden. You'll see my Browns rants there, particularly on Sunday for sure. But I don't know. I might not waste my time watching them. I might cut the grass or do something this week against Philly because it's going to get ugly. Go Guardians, though. Let's get a win today.
Yes. What are their chances to go to the World Series? Is it better than Browns?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no. If they play like they played the last game, I think they got a good chance to make a deep playoff run for sure.
Yeah, they're in the ALDS playing against Detroit. They're down one game, so it's not too late. They can definitely catch up. That's a Midwest.
No, they're up. They're up one. They won the first
game.
One. Yeah, 7-0. Yeah, they shut them out 7-0. Yeah.
Well, it's a good sign there. Anyways, you can follow that along on the sportscast.net or the Sportscast1 on X and also Instagram. We'll be live tweeting tonight and see what happens in the news. Trade deadlines in November 4th, the same day as Election Day.
Oh, yeah.
Can you believe it? I don't know if those coaches will be go voting that day.
Exactly. They have to absentee ballot or mail-in ballot. You got to get it in.
Have to do that. Well, Dan, I appreciate you coming on to the Sportscast.
Yep, good to be here. Have a good week.
And this was your update.